Okay, so the war in Iran is ongoing and it is only getting worse. It's been evolving day by day, and it is not going well. Let's just say that the death toll is rising, and there is no end in sight. The timeline from the Trump administration or the Trump regime keeps on extending. They keep on moving the goalposts. For first, it was a couple days, and then they went to saying it may be a couple weeks to 4 to 6 weeks, and then now they're saying it may be months. And I will go to say that it's probably going to be years. They're like, it took you 20 years to leave Afghanistan, and you didn't achieve anything. You're still in Iraq. Doing what? Like, I mean, like, how did that work out for you? I how you lost in Vietnam. Like, you have a really poor track record here of actually winning these wars that you speak of all the time. Like, okay, this whole decision was absolutely so fucking stupid. And Trump will not rule out putting troops on the ground. I will go to say, as like I have a feeling that there are troops on the ground. There are boots on the ground at this point, whether it's 2 boots or 20 boots, or 200. I don't. I feel like there is already boots on the ground in somewhere in Iran. So I feel like we've seen a lot of fucking reports about how the death toll may be a lot higher than they say it is, how the amount injured may be a lot higher than they say it is, and you can't really trust this Trump regime for anything at this point. And you have to take everything they say with a massive grain of salt. They don't want the bad publicity. Pete Hegseth himself was getting mad at reporters for putting the casualties on like the first page, like talking reporting on the fallen soldiers, the American citizens that were murdered. He was mad at the reporters for reporting on that. What the like? And fucking Hegseth himself, he has like Crusader tattoos. He has like the Jerusalem cross, or maybe that I don't. Maybe that's the wrong name to it. It's some sort of biblical cross. Like he has a bunch of like white nationalist tattoos all over his body. I heard that he was like exposed for fucking saying death to all Muslims in a bar in like 2015 or something like that. So this is just his wet dream being a fucking Secretary of War, fucking bullshit ass fucking title. Jesus fucking Christ. You got this dipshit, fucking Donald Trump. He keeps on making these threats. Keeps on talking about he won't rule out boots on the ground. Bitch, rule out boots on the ground. You need to rule out boots on the ground. Boots on the ground would be a huge fucking mistake. This entire war was already a huge fucking mistake. You are not doing well. You are actually getting hit very hard, and you are projecting a very weak image to all the people that you want to project a strong image to. If you want to, like, I'm not supportive of going to war for, say, Taiwan or the Ukraine, but for all those fucking like neocon liberals that want to go do those things, you are showing that they could beat you pretty easily. Like, if Iran's doing it, China has a billion more people than you do. I, and much better tech, much better like industries. Like, ay, ay, ay. You, this was so stupid. And like I was talking about it the other day, they're running out of these THAAD interceptors. Each THAAD interceptor is like huge, and I think a few of them have already been hit, and they're pretty easy to get hit because they are huge. They're clunky. They're out in the open. You can't really hide them, and so they are susceptible to attacks all the time. And each freaking missile that they shoot, one single missile is worth $1 million. And in order to shoot down these drones that are $50,000, they have to shoot two to three. So you have a $50,000 drone versus $2 to $3 million in missiles being like every single time. And they've already hit a bunch of these THAAD interceptors that are intercepting these drones. So you're running out of equipment And like, you were not prepared for this at all. And to go, like, there was no plan. There was no forethought of anything. And like, and you know who was planning? Iran. They've been preparing for this. I, I just don't. This was an extremely stupid decision. So Trump vague on Iran's unconditional surrender as he refuses to rule out U.S. troop deployment. So we were talking about this last night. He like was demanding unconditional surrender, and like he's been so like just he's been saying the most empty fucking things to the people of Iran. Like, Iran, rise up, take over, you can do it. And it's like, what are you talking about? You just killed everybody that was in charge of anything. It's pandemonium. It's pandemonium. It's pandemonium. It's fucking chaos. Like, I don't know what to fucking say to you here. You can't. Meanwhile, they're currently being bombed. Still, you are still attacking them. How are they supposed to organize or get together or do anything? Rise up. They're being bombed. They can't even leave the home. Like, they're scared to go outside. Jesus Christ. U.S. President leaves out open possibility of U.S. troop deployment in Iran while ruling out having Kurdish forces in Iraq mount an invasion. I believe they started saying that they were going to get the Kurds or something. I think it was kind of like a psyop to bait the Iranians into attacking the Kurds. They were just saying they were working with the Kurds. I don't understand why the Kurdish forces would want to work with the U.S. ever again. Have you been like I don't know. You've been when you've been betrayed by the same people 700 times. Don't you think like maybe probably wouldn't trust you? So Donald Trump on Saturday offered only a vague description of what he meant by his demand of an unconditional surrender by Iran's current regime, while leaving out the open possibility of deploying American troops on the ground, but ruling out asking Kurdish forces to mount an invasion. I said unconditional. It's where they cry uncle or where they can't fight any longer and there's nobody around to cry uncle. That could happen too. Jesus fuck. Trump said when he was pressed by The Guardian aboard Air Force One. Trump has been more consistent with his military objectives and has said for days he could send U.S. troops. And he's been making more ominous like threats that like make me worried about nuclear war. Like, if somebody sends a nuke, whether it's the U.S. or Israel, it will be a chain reaction because that you like pretty much the only thing keeping everybody else from using a nuke is that nobody else is using nukes. So once somebody does it, somebody else is going to, and then it's going to be a chain reaction. And like, it's just not. It would be apocalyptic, bad. It would just be fucking bad. Nuclear war. Still, he caveated using ground troops to secure the enriched uranium, believed to be stored at Iran's nuclear sites the U.S. bombed last year, as a possibility for later in the conflict. They never wanted a nuke. For decades, even from U.S. intelligence, said they do not want a nuke. Ayatollah Khamenei said they didn't want a fucking nuke. He said it went against Islam. It's an evil weapon. They never wanted a nuke. And if you did decimate the fucking nuclear facilities, what? You contradict yourselves all the fucking time. We haven't talked about it. Trump said at some point maybe we will. It would be a great thing, right? Right now we're just decimating them. Oh my god, this man is so psychotic. We haven't gone after it, but something we could do later on. We wouldn't do it now. Yeah, as we're actively bombing them, we aren't going to send people in to steal the enriched uranium from them. They should be allowed to fucking have enriched uranium. I don't understand. This is so stupid. Like, we can't have a nuclear Iran. We can't have it. We can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Why? That would be the only thing preventing them from getting invaded and fucking bombed by Israel and America for now a week. Carpet bombed every single fucking day. Death toll in like over 1,500 now. It also appeared that Trump had made a final decision on using the Kurds to mount an invasion, acknowledging that it would complicate a fraught situation despite the idea buzzing around Washington after news outlets reported they had been armed by the CIA. Well, that's like the CIA's main job around the world is just arming militia forces. Anyways, I don't want the Kurds going in. Trump said they're willing to go in, but I've told them I don't want them going in. The war is complicated enough without the Kurds getting involved. I don't think you were talking to the Kurds at all. No, we're winning the war by a lot. We decimated their whole evil empire. Jesus Christ. It will continue, I'm sure, for a little while, but I'm very proud of the people. Trump said later. He added deaths were a part of war. Jesus. The conflict has only expanded since Trump. If deaths are a part of war and we just need to get over it and we just need like, oh, why don't you send Barron? Send him. He's fighting age. I'm sure Don and Eric could probably fight too. Send them. Do it. Send Kai. She's fighting age. You want to send all the country to war? Send your fucking family. Jesus fuck. The conflict has only expanded since Trump gave the green light for the U.S. to join Israel in conducting airstrikes against Iran 1 week ago, including a series of strikes that killed its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who had been meeting with other top leaders at a compound in Tehran. In the initial days of the war, Trump suggested in interviews that the campaign would last roughly 4 weeks. But the administration has since shifted its position, and some officials have warned it could last for months. And it's most likely it's going to be years at this point. Like especially if there's are going to be troops on the ground, like Jesus fuck, and they're just going to keep on baiting them to like keep on attacking and attacking and attacking until one attack is bad enough and they can be like, look what they did! Oh my god, we have to go invade and we have to go and stay there for years. And usually that's what happens every time. He also blamed Trump. He blamed Iran for the strikes that destroyed. Oh my god, I forgot about that. He's such a piece of shit. He also blamed Iran for strikes that destroyed a girls' elementary school in the south of the country that killed at least 175 people, many of them children. A Pentagon investigation is ongoing, but forensic analysis by the New York Times, CNN, and the Associated Press gave it a high likelihood that it was a precision strike by the United States of America. The United States of America, your taxpayer dollars went to striking an elementary school where over 150 little girls died between the ages of 7 and 12. That's where your taxpayer dollars are going. Your hard-earned money went to go do that. Home of the free land of the brave or whatever. Jesus Christ. The strike occurred at the same time as attacks on an adjacent naval base operated by the IRGC. No, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran, Trump said. No. So what have you seen? Show us any of the facts. Because everything that I've seen, and I've seen multiple different news outlets report on it, and people talking about it, that they believe, based on all of the evidence, that it was a United States strike. So you really think Iran was going to bomb their own fucking elementary school? Their own children. My God, you are. Wow. After the defense secretary declined to back the president, saying that the matter was under investigation, Trump repeated his claim it was done by Iran. They're very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions. The fuck? No, you are. Well, there's an argument of whether they're intentionally or whether, but American strikes and drone strikes have been killing civilians for over a decade. Go look at the history of Barack Obama, drone bomber in the fucking Middle East, bombing people because he motherfucking bombed a ton of civilians in the Middle East. That man is a war criminal. The United States of America has a history of being like, oh yeah, we hit a base, and then by that base was a bunch of homes, but it was part of war. Okay, you barbarian. What the fuck is wrong with you? They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done by Iran. Like, fuck off, you piece of shit. God, you rotting, demented, deranged piece of fucking shit. Racist, Islamophobic, rapist. So Trump says he expects more U.S. troops to die in Iran war. Speaking to reporters on Air Force One on his way back to Florida from, oh my God, he's going to play golf. Oh my God. Every weekend, you're literally at war. The country is at war, and he's going to go play golf at his country club or go party at his country club. Have $1 million plate fundraisers. And like, are we kidding? He launched a war on a country from Mar-a-Lago, his country club. They put up some curtains into a makeshift situation room. I'm sure that's very secure. The fuck? On his way back to Florida from Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, Donald Trump was asked whether he expects to return there for more dignified transfer ceremonies from the U.S. troops killed in the war with Iran he launched last Saturday. Oh yeah, I'm sure. The president. I hate to do them, but it's a part of war, isn't it? What do you mean you hate to do them? They're talking about the peaceful train, like the 6 United States reservist soldiers that were that died in Kuwait, was it? They came back today. Their coffins returned to America today, and he met them when they came off. So they're asking him, "Are you like going to do more dignified transfers?" And he says, "Oh yeah, I'm sure. I hate to do them, but part of war, isn't it?" Do you mean that you hate to show up and do them, or you hate that people are dying? Trump then asked the reporter who asked him about the prospect of more American lives being lost, "Who are you with?" Oh my God. When the reporter replied to the Washington Post, Trump asked him whether he would agree that death is a part of war. Part of war, the president repeated. It's a sad part of war. It's the bad part of war. And show some emotion, you piece of shit. I've never seen you emotional about anything. Anything. Ever. Ever. Without evidence, Trump claims that bombing of an Iranian girls' elementary school was done by Iran. So we just talked about this. Asked on Air Force One whether the United States bombed a girls' school in Iran. Trump claimed that detailed forensic reporting that indicates U.S. was responsible is wrong. He's such a piece of shit. So they asked Pete Hegseth, "Is that true?" Then the defense secretary, who was standing behind the president, as the president turned to look at him, the defense secretary did not agree. "We're certainly investigating," Hegseth said, "but the only side that targets civilians is Iran." Oh my God. The only side that targets civilians is Iran? Really? 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 Are you fucking kidding me? You understand that you are on the side of Israel, right? Who live streamed their genocide? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? If you're going to lie, do it at least a little well. The fuck? And then Trump goes on to say, "Oh, we think it's done by Iran. You piece of shit. Fuck you. You have no fucking evidence of that." And you keep on saying, this motherfucker keeps, "In my opinion, they were going to strike. In my opinion, they struck the school. In my opinion." No, I'm not interested in your opinion. I'm interested in the facts. Were they going to strike? Yes or no? The answer was no. The answer that you got from all of your intelligence, from your agencies, said that they were not going to strike. They had no plans of building a nuclear weapon and never have. So I don't know what the issue is here. Like, Jesus fuck. Stop saying, "In my opinion." Like, we should not be in war because you had a delusional, deranged opinion that has been influenced by Benjamin Netanyahu's genocidal maniac ass. The president's claim is not supported by logic. Since the school was adjacent to an Iranian military base, the U.S. targeted it from the air, and is contradicted by evidence gathered. When asked about earlier reports of the U.S. attacking a freshwater desalination plant on Ketchum Island, Trump gave an evasive answer. So there were a few reports that I saw earlier today that a is it called desalination? Desalination plant was struck, and they seemed like unverified, and I didn't really know if it was true. And then there was more reports on that reporting, but I didn't hear much about it. I didn't see anything, like any videos or anything. So it was up in the air, like questionable. We don't know if it's true. So then they were asking him whether or not, like, did you guys do it? Because that's a sure way to know. Immediately saying that Iran are my God, you are the most evil person to exist right now. I don't. You and Benjamin Netanyahu, the genocidal maniac and the deranged psychopath, like, and those two things are interchangeable. Like, Jesus. He added, "I know nothing about the desalinization plant, other than to say if they are complaining about a desalinization plant, we complain about the fact that they shouldn't be chopping babies' heads off." Joe Biden called. He wants his line back. What are you talking about? Show me the receipts. Like, what is going on? I don't. No, 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 no. If you're talking about people chopping babies' heads off, I'm going to need to see some evidence. I want to see the report. Like, what are you talking about? That's a huge claim to be talking about. I understand that you have dementia, but that is just blatantly untrue. You can't just make shit up like that. It's one thing for you to blatantly lie all the time about yourself, but to say that people are chopping babies' heads off is absolutely fucking insane. What the fuck are you talking about? You delusional psychopath. What the fuck? U.S. Special Envoy Stephen Witkoff also said that Tehran leadership did not seem very amenable during negotiations before the U.S. launched strikes. That's not true. And you shouldn't believe Stephen Witkoff. He's a fucking Russian asset. He's paid off and bought for it like a fucking prostitute. So is Jared Kushner. They told me and Jared, we're not going to give you diplomatically what you couldn't take militarily, said Witkoff, referring to a fellow negotiator with Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Fellow negotiator and Trump's son-in-law. No. He's not a fellow negotiator. He has no title in the Trump regime. He is not a part of the cabinet, and he's been doing foreign policy for the entire year. He's been all over so many different fucking deals with so many different countries while he's getting paid billions of dollars from the fucking Saudis. It's like, this motherfucker failed his security clearance in Trump 1. And now in Trump 2, he's a part of the cabinet, unofficially, doesn't have a fucking title, but he's out there doing all the fucking work that an ambassador or a fucking trade envoy should be doing. And he's the son-in-law of the president. Does anybody see, like, the corruption here? Like, hello? Meanwhile, Hunter Biden, it was a huge fucking deal that motherfucker sold some paintings. And yeah, he got overpaid for them, and it was called nepotism. Sure, I give you that. But this is fucking insane. $1 billion from the Saudis, and he's out here doing fucking trade deals with different fucking countries, trying to negotiate with Iran. What the fuck? What security clearance do you have? Because I'm pretty sure you failed your security clearance. Hello? My God, you have no position within the government. If this was a normal fucking administration or a normal regime, normal time, this would be a huge fucking deal, a huge scandal. The son-in-law of the president is involved with foreign policy without actually having a position, a title, security clearance. He's not subject to any of the same rules that those people would be, while personally enriching himself. Oh, what? Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus. These are pictures of Tehran last night. Jesus. That's close to the airport. God damn. You look fucking apocalyptic. Like, I don't understand how you can see these issues and cheer it on, or see these pictures and cheer this on. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, you barbarian? There's nothing good about what's going on here. Like, over 1,300 people are dead, and that was the number last night. So Iran is now claiming that it can continue the intense war for 6 months. Iran can fight a war of this size and scale for at least another 6 months, a Revolutionary Guard official has claimed. And that just means this intense version of like bombing. And I've heard we haven't seen a lot, or we're not allowed to see a lot of the videos and information coming out of Tel Aviv and Israel, like the larger part of Israel, is being censored. And so we don't really know for sure what's going on day to day or even hour to hour at all. And they're not going to report. They're not going to let people report on it. I've seen a few people talk about how they have sources within Tel Aviv and they say that they're getting pummeled and it's not getting any better. So that's what they mean by this intense war. Like, they can continue to do this at the current pace for another 6 months. That's not even including how they could hold off a ground operation or an invasion. So this is not they are ready to fight it. The country is supportive of this war now. They have been being bombed for 7 days. You have murdered over 1,300 Iranians. You murdered the supreme leader, who was also a religious figure for Shia Muslims, and the majority of Iranians are Shia Muslim. For them, this is an existential war. For America, you are going into it at record levels of disapproval for a war. The approval ratings for this war are lower than the approval ratings for the end of the Vietnam War. Imagine how unpopular it was, the Vietnam War was, near the end. It is now more unpopular, this war with Iran, than the war with Vietnam at the very end. That is insane. Fucking ridiculous. So Trump ignored grim warnings before starting his war. Because of course he did. He always fucking ignores fucking intelligence from the United States. All the fucking time. What was that time you fucking ignored? He was like, no, I trust Putin over the intelligence of the United States of America. Was it like, what's that weird name? Helsinki? That one. Trump ignored grim warnings before starting his war. The president was told that his plan for Iran probably would not work before he launched the deadly assault. I could have told you that too, and I'm a fucking layman. Like, I'm just some random dude with a fucking camera and a microphone. What? An assessment by Washington's intelligence agencies produced before the U.S. attacked Iran, found that even a large-scale assault would be unlikely to achieve one of President Donald Trump's top objectives. So what they're saying is basically, if you do this, it will be for naught. It will not change anything. Your objectives will not be achieved. And he did it anyway. So the Intelligence Council found that Iran would respond to the killing of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei by following protocols designed to preserve continuity of power, regardless of whether an attack narrowly targeted leaders or broadly assaulted Iranian leadership and institutions. The assessment also found it unlikely for Iran's fractured opposition to take control of the country. I don't know. This is so stupid. Like, your own intelligence, your own agencies who actually have been doing this. These people have been in these careers their whole lives. Donald Trump is a reality TV show host and a real estate mogul, failed real estate mogul, and failed casino owner, failed first owner of a school, and failed. How many failed alcohol brand owner, failed this, failed? How many times did that man go bankrupt and fail companies and do all these things? And you guys were so, he's gonna be great with the economy. Okay. The report was completed by yeah, exactly, veteran analysts a week before the U.S. and Israel waged a war against Iran. According to the outlet, the findings slapped down Trump's stated goal to clean out the Iranian establishment and install a U.S.-approved leader. Yeah, so basically they were like, no, that's not going to work. The entire goal here of this offensive and illegal war against a country that had no plans of attacking you, you're not going to achieve that goal. And so you shouldn't probably do it. He did it anyway. So what's the point? What is the point? Because over 1,000 people are dead. Over 200 from Lebanon, over 1,300 from Iran, 6 Americans, a bunch of people from like collectively from like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, UAE, more. Like, what is the fucking point here? And from what we have seen, they're replacing Ayatollah Khamenei with Ayatollah Khamenei, his son, who is even more right wing and more repressive than his father was. So you really didn't achieve anything. And they told you weren't going to. You knew. The amount of disrespect this man has for the military. And it's Republicans that are supposed to be the ones, we love the military. You hate the military. You send them to die all the fucking time. Okay, so Iran rejects Trump's demand for an unconditional surrender as a dream. Because they like, obviously they're not going to fucking do an unconditional surrender. You just assassinated their leader. Why the fuck would they surrender? What the fuck is wrong with, like, hello? No. Why the fuck would they do that? Can you explain to me, please? Also, it's so weird to be, you need to do unconditional surrender, but we're going to continue to bomb you. You can't even organize or get together in a way, in suitable fashion. The internet is down. You can't even communicate. Like, how are they even supposed to have a vote to get a democratic leader or to have your puppet in charge? Like, what is this is a poison apple. There is no fucking good outcome of this. Could you imagine if somebody bombed the White House, killing Donald Trump, Melania, Eric Trump, Lara Trump, and their children? That's what you just did. And anybody you went, and then you also went after like anybody that could possibly take over in the Democratic Party. You went after all the second in command in the regime. You went already like, it would be an all out fucking war, World War III. It would probably nuclear war at that point. Like, what? Why the fuck would they surrender to you? The president of Iran has rejected Donald Trump's call for the country's unconditional surrender as a dream, while issuing a rare apology for Iranian attacks that hit neighboring states, even as missiles and drones continue to strike Gulf countries. Iran's enemies, Pezeshkian said, must take their dream of the Iranian people's unconditional surrender to their graves. Damn. Pezeshkian also issued an apology to neighboring states for Iran's recent actions, in an apparent attempt to ease regional anger after Iranian strikes hit civilian targets in Gulf Arab countries. Well, I mean, good. I mean, guess good for him, but you know who should be apologizing? Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu. Those are the two people who caused those countries to get hit. They knew the bases in those countries would be struck if they started an illegal and offensive war, and they did it anyways. They did not give a fuck. They should be the ones fucking apologizing to the fucking Gulf Arab countries. The fuck? Over the past week, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates have all reported drone and missile attacks. Pezeshkian said Iran's Temporary Leadership Council had approved suspending attacks on nearby countries unless an assault on Iran originated from those states. I personally apologize to neighboring countries that were affected by Iran's actions, he said. So I guess they're just going to focus on Israel. Because, like, how else are you going to hit the United States? The United States bases and embassies are in those countries. Because most of those countries are allies with the United States. Pezeshkian's remarks were swiftly followed by a warning from Trump, who said Tehran faced the prospect of complete destruction if it did not capitulate, adding that Iran's apology to neighboring states was a result of mounting U.S. military pressure. No, it's probably to. No, it's not. It's to. It's diplomacy between the neighboring states. It has nothing to do with you, bitch. The fuck? On his Truth Social platform, Jesus Christ. On social media, Trump replied that if Iran did not surrender, it would be hit very hard, adding that the country was under serious consideration for complete destruction and certain death. That's a nuclear threat. And if you think I'm fucking off the rails for fucking thinking that, it's Donald Trump, the deranged psycho. Like, he asked one of the people in his last cabinet in Trump 1 if he could take out BLM protesters at their fucking knees. This motherfucker has never met death that he does not enjoy to watch and destruction that he does not enjoy to watch, like a fucking TV show. That is a nuclear threat. Consideration for complete destruction and certain death. What does that sound like to you? Trump also said that Iran had apologized and surrendered to its Middle East neighbor. They didn't surrender. They just said, we'll stop if you don't hit us. Because of the relentless U.S. and Israeli attack. No, they're still going to hit Israel. And I'm sure they're still going to start to target specific military ships in the, like, naval ships in the region now. Or specific facilities, like desalination plants. Which, like, if they do not have water desalination plants, they are not going to have water. If you think people are desperate now, just wait until there is no water. There is already this fuel shortage now. The Strait of Hormuz has been closed, and now there's a threat that the water desalination plants could be hit. So, Trump is seriously interested in ominous war escalation. Exactly. It's just the president has privately floated the idea of deploying a small contingent of American forces for strategic missions inside Iran. I think somebody could go to argue that there probably is a small contingent of people there already. At least a few. I don't know. President Donald Trump privately expressed interest in sending U.S. troops into Iran, according to several current and former officials who spoke to NBC News. The idea came up in conversations with aides and Republican officials, where the president is said to have discussed what a post-war Iran might look like and floated the possibility of deploying a small contingent of U.S. forces for strategic missions rather than a full-scale ground invasion. If we're going off based off of the patterns and your history. Like he always floats things out and then does them, and then floats things out to even more, and like they always like escalate that way. Like I, if you deploy a small contingent of U.S. forces for strategic missions, then that will quickly turn into a full-scale ground invasion. Like that, God. Either possibility would run counter to Trump's repeated promises to keep the United States out of any new foreign wars. He already is wrote too late. He already went to a war with Iran in June or July, like the 12-day war. What are we talking? Too late. He has bombed 8 countries. He kidnapped a sovereign nation's leader. Officials told NBC News that Trump has not made a final decision on whether to deploy troops to Iran, but the private discussions suggest that he may be more open to putting U.S. boots on the ground than he has publicly acknowledged. This piece of fucking shit. Like, I hope your kids signed up to go die for Israel. Like, that is what is like they're saying to you. You if you signed up to be in the military, your job is to go fight and risk your life for Israel. For Israel's genocidal, maniacal, wet dreams of creating a greater Israel, their colonial settler project. And a ton of the US is going to go along with them because fucking Christian Zionists who believe in the fucking rapture and they want to bring in the end times so that the Archangel Michael can come down and fucking tell everybody to accept Christianity. And if you don't accept Christianity, which they know the Jews will not do, then you will be sent to hell or left behind. Like, for the apocalypse. They don't give a fuck that in their scenario, in their little fucking prophecy, all the Jews are going to die. They don't give a fuck about that because they don't care about Jews. They care about bringing in the end times. The Jews know that and they're exploiting that because they don't believe in that shit. Like, not the Jews, but the Israel, the Zionists, the Jewish Zionists versus the Christian Zionists. That's why I was saying Jew. I want to be very fucking clear. I have no issue with Jewish people. I have issues with supremacy in all its forms, whether it's white supremacy or Jewish supremacy. And Zionism is a range from Jewish nationalism within Israel to Jewish supremacy. Because there is a difference, but not much, but there is a difference between like the type of Jewish supremacist that like Jeffrey Epstein was, because he thought he had some really, really, really disgusting views versus just having like a Jewish ethno-nationalist state. I think that's different. They're of the same vein, but it's just different sides of a spectrum. The same spectrum. Shrinking weapon stockpiles and regime change uncertainty. Dows shadow U.S.-Israel war on Iran. The U.S. government reviews of the war in Iran show that the Trump administration may be ill-equipped for a regime change war, according to reports. The Washington Post reported on Saturday morning that a classified intelligence review found that the war in Iran is unlikely to oust the Iranian establishment, despite the Trump administration's desire to continue its attacks. Since the strikes began, the Trump administration has claimed that Iran attempted to negotiate a ceasefire, despite multiple reports showing the contrary. Exactly, they did not. The U.S. and Israel have now been bombarding Iran for a week, striking government buildings and military installations. They also have hit civilian buildings, hospitals, and schools. On the first day of the bombing campaign, 168 young girls were killed in a direct strike on their school. The Associated Press later reported that the deadly strike likely came from the U.S. However, U.S. intelligence points to a different potential outcome despite a prolonged and aggressive war. As the Post reported, a classified report by the National Intelligence Council shows that a bombing campaign may not oust Iran's military and clerical establishment. The report, completed in February, outlined potential actions by the U.S. In both cases, the outcome would remain the same. Iran's government would follow protocols for a successor of the country's supreme leader. With increasing worries around the U.S. stockpiles of weapons, some Democratic senators are concerned that with the quick use of missiles and advanced weapons, other countries that rely on U.S. military assistance, like the Ukraine and others, Taiwan, may not be able to effectively protect themselves. So, what I was saying earlier, like, you have a limited amount of THAAD interceptors. I think like 4 of them have been hit already, and they cost an extreme amount, and you're running out. And Iran has the capability to make like I can't remember, it was 50 or 500 of these drones a day. Either way, it's a lot more that you can produce, and these drones cost $50,000 versus the $1 billion that a THAAD interceptor costs. If you have any intention of arming Ukraine or defending Taiwan, then this war is going to be a big wrench in your plans. I don't believe that we should be doing either of those things. I'm very anti-war, and my stance is very hardlined. But if that is in your purview of things that you want to do, then this war is a very bad idea. Another expert who spoke with the AP said the concern was not about the conflict in Iran, but rather potential military escalations in the future. I'm not particularly worried about us actually running out during this conflict, said Ryan Probst, a scholar focused on the U.S. defense strategy at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. In an interview with the AP, it's about deterring China and Russia the day after this conflict is over. Exactly. And I really don't understand, where do you get off deterring anybody doing anything? You just started an illegal and offensive war. You illegally invaded Iraq based on a humongous lie. You invaded Afghanistan, achieved nothing. You funded a genocide in Gaza, wrote a blank check to a war criminal, Benjamin Netanyahu. Where the fuck do you get off telling people what they can and can't do? You are no moral authority anywhere here. Like, what? I think you've been disqualified as your role as international cop that nobody wanted you to play from the beginning. I don't think it's up to you whether any country is invading anything or any. No. How about we leave it to ICC and you just mind your business for at least a little bit? Because I think you've caused enough destruction all across the world. You just, like I already said today, you invaded, abducted a sovereign nation's leader. You assassinated a sovereign nation's leader. You started an illegal offensive war with said nation twice in this term alone. You have bombed 8 countries. You killed over 100 people in the Caribbean in fishing boats with no due process. Like, where the fuck do you get off? Like, the American arrogance mixed with the chauvinism is like, wow, okay. Wow. You really love yourselves. It's crazy. So this is a video The Guardian put together of the first 7 days of the war in the Middle East and how the first week unfolded.
The United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests.
This is not only an act of aggression, it is a war crime
and a crime against humanity.
The fireworks? No.
حضرت آیت الله العظما سید علی حسینی خامنه ای در راه سربلندی حرم جمهوری اسلامی ایران شهد شهید گوارای شهادت را نوشیدند.
As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. And sadly, there will likely be more before it ends. That's the way it is.
شوف لا والله حربية طيارة حربية طيارة حربية شوف شوف
49 and counting of the most senior Iranian regime leaders, including the supreme leader, have already been wiped off the face of the earth.
Bunu törədənlər dərhal məsuliyyətə cəlb edilməlidir.
I don't have any words. I don't understand how people can look at these videos and these images and just be okay with it. These are we're destroying people's lives. Like oh my god. It's like when the war in Iraq invaded in 2003, right? So I was 3 years old. And so I learned about these things after the fact. Later on in school and like through learning and everything, I learned about all of these things after the fact. So I wasn't there to experience them, but I'm very aware of key players in the war in Iraq. The former Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice, was a key figure in the war in Iraq. And guess what? She's trolling the White House once again. Yes, key Iraq war architect at White House as Iran war rages. It's like they can't. They're using all the same lines. They're using all the same justifications, and now they got the same fucking people. This is a war criminal on the screen. She deserves nothing good in life. There's a small, tiny, teeny, little group of black women that I will go all the fuck in on, and she is one of them. Condoleezza Rice, Omarosa, Candace Owens. Those are the three main ones. And this bitch, she has no business being anywhere near anything. All she causes is fucking destruction, just like fucking Bush, Cheney, Powell, all of those fucking motherfuckers. Fuck all of them. And guess who else was a key architect in the Iraq war? Fucking going to the fucking UN and petitioning them to go start the war in Iraq. Benjamin Netanyahu, exactly. And now here he is again, 20 years later, doing the exact same shit. And here she is again. Former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice has urged Trump to take care of Iran. The fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Also, who asked you here, Condoleezza? You dumb bitch. I'm sure she's smart, but she's a Warhawk villain. Look, there they are. Oh, ooh. Pelosi. I think it is. Jesus Christ. Like, just another. I think I've seen this song. I think I've heard this song before. I didn't like the ending. Like, I'm so tired of this. It's the same people. It's literally the same people. You just replaced a few people. Like, look at her. Nancy fucking Pelosi. Just to show you, it goes to show that the war in Iraq was a very bipartisan issue. Extremely bipartisan. Fucking Chuck Schumer was a big, huge cheerleader for the war in Iraq as well. Guess what? He's not doing anything to fucking fight back against this war in Iran. The same people. It's the same fucking people. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Iran's de facto leader says Iran would not surrender or stop its attacks. Iran's top national security official speaking on national television as the war entered a second week said Tehran would not surrender or let up on retaliatory strikes and vowed to hold President Trump responsible for killing Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Mr. Larijani said the United States must pay the price. Good luck. Like, you have no idea what you just let off. Like, the Pandora's box that you just opened is so fucking like huge and destructive, and you don't even know the ramifications of what's going to happen of your actions in the next. Like, you did not think this through at all, and it shows in every single fucking decision that you've made. And like, all of this is because Benjamin Netanyahu has had a wet dream to destroy Iran for 40 years. He says it himself. He doesn't say wet dream. He says he's yearned to do this for 40 years. And now Donald Trump has finally fulfilled his fantasy. Go to hell, you fucking demon. Like, I don't have any word. Like, and America, the strongest nation on earth, got dog walked by Benjamin Netanyahu's bitch ass into a war with Iran that is threatening the global oil supply, like threatening the global economy, threatening all of your allies in the Middle East. All of the people that have been funding your AI, all the people that have been making deals with you, saying that they're going to fucking pledge to invest this much money, are over there getting bombed, and their economy is at stake. Just on a personal level, that's a dumbass idea. Like, what? This is so stupid. You really think that Americans are willing to put up with the least bit of pain? They are not willing to suffer for a war that they didn't even want. They aren't willing to suffer for a war that they did want. Like, Americans are not willing to suffer. They're the biggest pampered babies on earth. They're not willing to actually have to go to the pump and pay a ton more because Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu had this fantasy of destroying Iran. Like, what? My God. All right, everybody. Have a good night. This is just